Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 168. Welcome to the jungle. We're not going to go into the music that would be playing at this point in time when you say welcome to the jungle, copyright infringement, all that business. I don't know to what level Guns N' Roses goes after stuff like that, but let's not find out. All right. We got Reese with us tonight. Say hello, Reese.
Hello.
And in the chat, we may or may not see Charles. Um, he says, hope to be there, maybe stuck, helping to celebrate my ex's birthday. Just give me cake and let me get back to my room. I, she's your ex. Maybe you're doing it for the kids, but, you know, the kid, or maybe your granddaughter, I don't know. I'm not judging. Far be it from me to judge. Telemachus says, in brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. And then he gives us a wave. How you doing, Telemachus? Nordic Maelstrom coming in, saying, hello, friends. Chris, you should be playing CCR, man. Yeah, well, yes, but we are talking about being in the jungle and doing scenarios in the tropics, as it were. So, um, Chris Long says, "Heyo, how you doing, sir? How you doing?" Meandering Mike's in the house. Greetings, everyone. How you doing, Mike? Glad you can make it. And Telemachus bringing in the my serpentine. So, yes. Before we get going too deep into it, uh, we will talk about our sponsors again. Um, just had a person hop on to the Fistful of Lead Wiley Games Facebook group saying, "Hey, I went in and I bought this, I bought that, I bought the other, um, and really excited about it. Are you gonna have something more for something?" And it's like, dude, play the game first. Play the game first, and then determine whether you want to, you think we need to add stuff. Um, and I commented, great thing about all of the titles is they're interchangeable. So if there's a trait in one book that isn't in another book that you're playing out of, use that trait. And if there isn't a trait that will do what you want your characters to do, make that trait. That's the really the great thing about the game. It is truly a sandbox to let you do whatever you want to do with it. So um, glad to have a new player. It's always good to see that. Um, sometimes sometimes it does seem like we get these silly, goofy questions, but for new and uninitiated, they seem completely legitimate. So we do our best not to, dog on them completely, right? Uh, so head on over if you haven't already. There's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no current sale going on. I think we're really over at Wiley Games are really focused on getting set up for Battles and Brews, which is 3 short weeks from now. Is that right? 3 weeks? 4 weeks. I think it's 4 weeks. Um, yeah, we're a month away because we're 2 weeks from the fourth. Then the air show. Yeah, 4 weeks away.
We're a week from the 4th.
Right. We're a week from the fourth. And oh no, shit. Right. So hold on. We're a week and we're a week and a day from the fourth. and that's 15. It's 2 weeks after that. Holy shit! Yeah, we're 3 weeks away. We're 3 weeks away from Battles and Brews. So um, I've got a couple of fighters left to get done. I got all of my I got all my Germans done on Sunday. I sat down and said, let's just crank it out. My P-51s are being a pain in the ass, um, but I'll, I'll I'll get them done. I'll take my time and I'll get them done. Uh, but yeah, head on over to wiley-games.com to pick up anything that you haven't already bought that you want to buy. There you have it. Um, just woke up from a 2 minute nap. Okay, that almost not worth it. Scala Gremlin's in the house saying, "Hey all, how you doing, Scala?" Um, Nord says, "You can play Run to the Jungle by Creedence Clearwater Revival would be fitting." There you go. Hey Reese, do you bake well? And if so, what are you baking well?
It's the company I work for, Bakewell Chemical.
Is that the family name that owns it? Or
So not currently, but it was the
okay,
original owner's last name.
okay, all right,
Um, Guy by the name of Bill Bakewell. He played played a lot of good baseball, and then decided to make a company. So
there you go. Ashley from Gamers with Coffee's in the house. How you doing, Ash? Glad you're here. Richard Keenan says hello. Um, I'm up for a bungle in the jungle. There you go. Is that? It's all right by me. Nord's reading Ashley. That means my yearly watching of 1776 is coming up. Yes. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Charles made it back. Did you get your cake? If you didn't get your cake, go back and get the cake, and then come on back. I found a lot of folks coming from other games, except a lot more crunchy mechanics, and it takes them a while to wrap their head around the idea of game putting fun before mechanics and balance. Oh man, you are so right, Scala. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight because we're going to kind of I don't want to say in depth look at the scenario that I've written for Tacticon, but we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about some other stuff as well. Um, Nord says, Chuck, did you bring any cake for us? He says, got steak. Charles says, got steak. Even better than cake, man. Even better than cake. Don't get me wrong. I love me some cake, but if it's a choice of steak or cake, I'm going steak every time. Really, let's be honest. Steak and cake is perfect. And we can talk about this later on when we get to the eventual, hey, we talk about food anyway. But we'll discuss steak and cake. Um, so I just had homemade Swedish meatballs, so I want the cake. Well, oh, there you go. Oh, meatballs. Homemade Swedish meatballs are good too. The other sponsor is, of course, geekgamingusa.com, the place to go to get your base ready material to make your so models look good, your good models look great, and your great models look amazing. Um, I'm about to get into painting my quar. I got to get tint done in the next basically 8 days, um, 8 or 9 days. So I will be using some of that wonderful basing material here very shortly. And when I get some of them done, I will of course show you what I've got. So um, head on over to geekgamingusa.com. Get your ready uh, base ready material. Get your Geek Gaming Scenic um, fast drying basing glue. This stuff is it's great stuff. Works really well. Um, and if you give McMurray a heads up, he'll give you a little note, maybe a little lightweight something or other to say, hey, thanks for doing business with them. So, um, Ashley says, had our granddaughter's birthday party last Saturday, and I made a homemade cake and buttercream. Ooh, yeah. Steak and steak versus cake. A bad cake is still a cake. A bad steak is a hate crime. You're not wrong.
I've
You're
had some
you're not
bad
wrong.
cakes.
I've had bad cakes, but they're still cake. Bad steak. You might as well be chewing shoe leather. Um, so okay, Nord. I'm going to give you the official reasoning, and then I'm going to give you the not so official reason. The official reason is A, size of the package, B, what class it was mailed under, C, what the item is. Um, the unofficial reason is that the U.S. Postal Service is uh, it's supposed to be self-supporting, but unfortunately it isn't, and they actually have a shortage of employees right now, and can't get enough uh, people to work, and so I I receive payments regularly from customers that live like a county away. They'll drop it in the mailbox. I might get it 2 weeks later. So there you go. Um, it's yeah, not great. Uh, yeah, more than likely it was probably mailed, not parcel post. It was probably mailed like media mail, and media mail always takes a back seat. So unfortunately, that is what happens there. Um, Ashley wants to know what you're working on, which is a great
Um,
segue for what we're going to talk about.
yeah, I'm tracking down some minis right now for what we're talking about.
So Reese and I are going to be running a game at Tacticon, which is going to be in Kansas City, in the Kansas City metro area. It's actually in Kansas City this time, not just Independence or Blue Springs. Tacticon is going to be up by the airport in Kansas City, uh, and the weekend of Veterans Day, November 11th. And the scenario is going to be um, for force on force using Reese's 54 millimeter Vietnam stuff, which looks really, really good. So I think this is going to be a great way to show off the both his miniatures and his terrain, and the you know the a really great game in force on force. Get people really excited about that rule set again, because Sean is in the process of reinvigorating it. Instead of doing a whole new rewrite like he had planned to do with Next War, he has decided to kind of come out with a third edition of Force on Force, making the a lot of people were calling the Osprey version of Force on Force the second edition. Um, and so this is going to be a third edition where he's looking to clean things up a bit, make things a little tidier. But we can go ahead. Let's take a quick look at my scenario and see what you guys think of it. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen. I've sent this to Reese and he's looked it over. I did send it to Chris Long also. I don't know if he's looked at it yet, and if he hasn't, that's okay. World's not going to come to an end. Um, but let's go ahead and pop it up here, and let's share screen, and let's choose the screen I want to use. There we go. Boom. All right. So here it is in all of its grandeur. Can I make it bigger? Can I make it a lot here? Bear with me, folks. Oh, hey, I can make it bigger. Outstanding. Okay. So I'm calling it Operation Fetch. Um, and basically, what has happened is a Huey has crashed in the jungles outside of Way, um, and it's carrying a high ranking leader of the Viet Cong that they had captured and were taking back to whatever base they were going to take it back to. I don't know. Anyway, it crashed. And so the only unit close enough is a United States Marine Corps platoon, and they've been tasked to come through and pick it up. Um, but of course, it wouldn't be a scenario if there weren't things in the way, such as both PAVN and VC units. This is what the table is going to look like getting set up. Um, we've got uh, this 2 foot section. It's a 4x6 table. This 2 foot section is going to be buildings of some nature, whether it's some of his Reese's really cool way buildings, or if it's going to be some of his rice shacks. Not sure, but the Marine Corps platoons are starting on the road here. There will be some Viet Congs hiding out in the buildings to start off. Then we've got some rice paddies with some PAVN outposts, and then more VC hotspots in the jungle, and of course the crash Huey with the surviving crew, which is going to be a pilot, a co-pilot, and basically two door gunners with M60s. And it's gonna the game actually is going to be, where did I put that? Yeah, duration of the game. It's a variable number of turns. The referee, me, will secretly roll a d4 at the end of turn 8 to see how many more turns the game will run. So it could only be 9 turns total, or it could be a total of 12 turns. But they will have to get, the Marine Corps will have to get from here to here within 9 to 12 turns, and hold off the enemy during that time, and which is at that point in time is when a Marine Corps armored uh, platoon is going to show up with an M113 or what have you. So, and we don't have to have that modeled, so don't worry about if you don't have an M113. Don't worry about it. You got some? Great. Okay.
Two.
Okay.
I've got
So
the STLs if I need to print more.
yeah. So and what we'll do is at the end of at the end, whenever the end turn is, I can, okay, the M113 showed up. Game over.
Well, and I mean, we could even call it first cav, since
Yeah.
or some cav unit, since the lead pilot's going to have a Stetson on. So they're coming to rescue their own, but the Marines did it better. So
You're right. Okay, Mike. Mike said bigger, please. So I made it bigger. Nord says that's not what she said. That's always what she said. Uh, so yeah, that's the table layout. Now it says here table setup. It's going to be a high density urban area bordered by open grassland, rice fields, and denser jungle further out. The jungle can only be seen into and out of by 4 inches, and then reduce movement to tactical speed. Foot troops in the jungle can claim hard cover in addition to the in cover bonus when not moving.
be very
So,
helpful.
yeah, it's going to be very difficult for. And we'll see at the bottom here. There are some special rules that the VC get to play with. Um, so the USMC patrol mission: reach the downed Iroquois, secure the crew and VC captive for extraction, and hold off the insurgents until a USMC armored platoon arrives. Um, and then the victory points is retrieval of that's supposed to be high ranking, not his ranking. High ranking VC leader, they'll get 5 points. Each North Vietnamese leader they kill or capture is an additional point. If they get no Marines killed, they get 3 points. And if they get no seriously wounded, they get 2 points. So they can still get points if some take wounds, they can still get points, but um, it's better to not have any kills. So it might get hard. What do I think about Vietnam in 6 millimeter, where a stand is a squad and a vehicle is one vehicle? I like that. Keeping in mind that I have done 6 millimeter Cold War. Um, with M60s and T55s and T72s, and I am in the process of, um, the plan is still out there to continue with my 3 millimeter project. So yeah, I dig it. I like it. Um, see, so here are the forces. Now, for the uninitiated, force on force is very similar to Stark Grunt and Dirt Side, where you have a troop quality and a morale that's die based. So whenever you shoot, you're rolling that die type, the troop quality die type, and you're looking for a 4 or better to succeed. Um, it's an opposed roll. So let's say I'm the Marine Corps player and Reese is the North Vietnamese player, and I'm going to shoot at one of his units. I pick as the Marine Corps player. I'm going to pick up 10, uh, or I'm going to pick up D10s equal to the number of Marines in the team that's firing, plus any additional additions for uh, uh, increased firepower, and roll those. Then Reese will pick up the number of dice equal to the number of troops in his team, plus any defense bonuses for being behind walls or in trees or wearing any body armor, which the North Vietnamese don't have. And he rolls his dice. Any die that is three or less just immediately gets taken out of the equation because it doesn't count. It's not a success. Then we match up successes. So for every one success that Reese has, blocks one of my successes. Uh, Either the guy that was being shot at it was lucky enough to be hiding behind a rock, or just happened to be not the shot's not on target, what have you. Any unblocked successes that I have goes as a potential wound onto Reese's character or onto Reese's team. So if my troop quality is a D10 and his troop quality is only a D8, I'm rolling D10s looking for fours or better. He's rolling D8s looking for fours or better. Theoretically, because my troops are more are better trained, they will then be more successful in the long run against a lesser trained force. Um, uh, okay, I'm just making sure there's no questions being popped up. They're just chatting amongst themselves. So, for instance, when we're looking at firepower. If you look at a fire team, that's one team leader with an M16A1, one auto rifleman with an M16A1 that gets an additional firepower because he's automatic, and two riflemen. So, excuse me, fire team 1A would pick up four dice plus an additional die for the automatic rifleman, so they'd be rolling five dice. Now, you can, if you want to, you could attach the GPMG team to one of these fire teams to add additional firepower. In this case, uh, for instance, GPMG Team 1, you pick up two dice for the two dudes because they're cool, and then an additional two dice because he's carrying an M60 that slings out 30 caliber bullets at a high rate of speed. So this team here is rolling four dice compared to the fire team A, which is rolling five dice. So four guys rolling five dice, two guys rolling four dice. Just because that's how much a an M60 will do, or any really any general purpose machine gun. So each player is going to have a squad. Now, probably what I will do is I'll have it where one player has like squad one and the platoon section, and then the squad two will have a machine gun team, and squad three will have a machine gun team. Also, because their supply level is abundant, everybody adds an additional firepower die to their dice pool. So again, back to Fire Team 1A, you get one each for each guy, so you get four, plus the one for being an automatic rifleman, plus one because they're just carrying a crap ton of bullets with them. So actually, Fire Team 1A will roll six dice, and the GPMG teams will roll five dice. Uh, and then when we were saying if they are being shot at, you get one die per person, plus you get an additional die for the body armor. And again, you're rolling a d10 for your troop quality. So If it's the VC, if you're a VC player and you get a local VC team, they are irregulars and only D6. They're considered a green team, and they're only rolling D6s. So they only have a 50-50 chance of success compared to a 70% chance of success uh, for the Marines. Now, at the helicopter, at the chopper, you will have a team. Um, their morale is a little lower than the Marines because, well, they've been shot down. And morale, when you take when you take uh, hits and you roll your your first aid roll, after you've done that, or once you finished your activations, you then roll morale, and again you're looking for successes there. So um, yeah, that's essentially it. So yeah, I've got a full U.S. Marine Corps uh, platoon with the platoon leader, messenger, radio operator. The radio operator can call in off-board artillery. They have to do a combo check first, which is basically pass, do a task check, as it were. They have to have a success.
Is that a four as well?
Yeah, it's all based on four.
Okay.
Um, and what I might do to make it easier um, is because I'm making it be either 1 to 3 turns after the call to bring in artillery. Is when the radio operator rolls their check, they roll 3 dice, and it's um, if it's one success, it's 3 turns. Two successes, it's 2 turns. Three successes, it's 1 turn after the radio contact's been made.
I like that a lot.
And it's they're going to be 105s, so they're going to be leaving. I think I'm going to I think I'm going to do 8 inch. No, no, I'm going to go big or go home. They're 105s. They're going to do a 12-inch diameter burst.
Okay.
So I'll have to bring my find my big template. Now the North Vietnamese will have radio operators also, but those are going to be for mortars,
Okay.
and they will come in. They only have to roll 1 die, and if it's a success, it comes in next turn. If it's not a success, well, it doesn't happen. Um, and they're only going to get like a 4 inch blast. The answer is you need a quad 50. Well, that would be great if I had a gun truck, but there's no gun. Yeah, I know you have a gun truck, Reese. I know you got one. I don't have one in this scenario. Uh,
That is the problem when it comes to writing scenarios between me and Chris. Somebody goes, "That's not. That would be nice," and I reach over on the
yeah,
shelf.
yeah. It's like me and ships, or me and airplanes.
Well, I mean,
Um,
it's like the other day I realized I didn't have a little bird, so now
you
I've
got
got a
one.
little bird.
Yeah. So, um, oh, I gotta fix that. It's not the Taliban force mission. I I took I had written a similar. This is very similar to scenario that I wrote up. Geez, what, 15 years ago now? Jesus, 15 years ago. Good God, man.
Well, I saw
Is that
pictures of
right?
it on the internet a long time ago, so I don't know how long ago that was.
What's that? What's that?
I think I've seen pictures of that scenario on the internet somewhere.
Yeah, well,
Was it
I
down
ran
low?
it quite a bit because I ran it at, well, I ran it at J3 as a test to see how well it would work, and then I ran it at Recruits, and I ran it at Millennium Con.
I may have seen it on Chris Clucky's blog.
Um, but it was a 15 millimeter um, U.S. Army Infantry. I call it Fort Apache, and it's a AH-64 Apache crashed, and the Americans have got to get to there to um, save the air crew and destroy the helicopter, so it doesn't turn over to enemy hands, as it were. So that's why it says Taliban there. But they want to kill or capture as many of the U.S. Marine Corps patrol, the aircrew, and rescue the high-ranking VC leader. Um, for each Marine Corps soldier captured, they get 2 points. Each American soldier killed is one, and then they rescue a high-ranking leader is five. Um, and then just talks about their their setup. Um, and then there's two types of Viet Cong. There is the local force and the main force. Local force are your standard, farmer by day, infiltrator by night. Um, they've got the AK sitting in the shack back home while they're out in the rice paddies, and then at night they go out and do their whatevers. They don't necessarily have a leader with them, so and they're in poor supply, but have very high confidence for themselves. Um, when they do deploy, you're going to roll a d6. If it's an even number, a two, four, or a six, that's going to be a local force. If it's an odd number, a one, three, or a five, that's going to be a main force. And then a one or two is six riflemen, a three or four is seven riflemen, and five or six are eight riflemen. Um, and this is their troop quality is a D8. The PAVN forces, um, they are they're a D8 D10, so they're rolling D8s on everything when they're shooting or defending. Uh, and then they do carry RPG 7s, and the RPG 7 is just as nasty as the M60 when it comes to anti personnel firepower. They get a +2 on it. So each squad is one leader, one gunner with an RPG, and then six riflemen. So it's eight dudes in that squad. Um, Now you don't have to fire the RPG 7. You can if you want to. Um,
I'll be right back, Chris.
that's okay. If they don't, then they'll just be one for firing the AK or the SKS. So we're going to wait for Reese to come back to talk about these special rules that have been written up. Now, I didn't write these rules. These are rules that are from the book, um, the Ambush Valley book. So looking at what y'all have been talking about. Mike's got some Napoleonic, some 15th century Baltics, some 30 Years' War, some other odds and ends. There you go. And he's not looking for any particular games of mine. We'll build some dioramas, maybe make some mini rules of my own. Almost bought a 1/800 scale Tirpitz during the sale, but slapped myself upside the head and deleted it from my cart. Eh. Uh, Nord, you're wanting to do go from going from miniature plane to dioramas. That's cool. I like seeing dioramas. I like seeing dioramas a lot. Um, So, if Chris Long is out there, been looking at your buildings that have been going up. You doing a fine job there. Those are looking really nice. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna go grab something, go get some things. I'll be right back.
I think he disappeared. I don't know where he went.
All right, I'm back.
I came back and you were gone.
So the Viet Cong have got some special rules, um, and I'm going to have to read up on some of them. For instance, they're going to have the Viet Cong forces can use the ambush rules, so I need to read up on those. They also get booby traps. They get one. They get 1d6 booby trap. So I got to figure out exactly what a booby trap is and how it plays out. Um, like of initiative, the any VC unit that does not have either an attached leader or uh, does not have a clear line of sight to a leader um, has to take a troop quality check just to even move. Um, Otherwise, they just kind of hole up in position. They can still shoot, so that's not a problem. But yeah, they've definitely got to make sure that uh, they've got a leader around to handle stuff for them that way. Um,
So, as an American player, could you focus your fire on their leaders?
so what happens is when you do hits on a team, you roll to see who you hit.
Okay.
And so you can't target leaders, but every time a team with a leader takes a hit, there is a chance that that leader will be hit.
Okay. Again, thanks for helping with my ignorance on the rules.
That's okay.
I have them. I just haven't played them.
It's and this actually doing this is actually helping me quite a bit. Yeah, it was all quiet on the Illinois front. Sorry about that, Charles. um, Poor communications. Due to the virtual lack of communications and the need to pre plan operations, Viet Cong forces may never hold the initiative. Any force playing against the Viet Cong force will always be classed as the aggressor. Now, that being said, um, if there are PAVN, what that means in my scenario, since I'm mixed PAVN and VC, is that if the PAVN somehow steals initiative from the Americans, only the PAVN can only the PAVN units can activate, um, and then the Americans can respond. Any VC units that are on the table can only respond. They cannot activate unto themselves. So um, they also have the elusive foe. Viet Cong units that are stationary and in cover may not be spotted by enemy forces unless they are within the spotting unit's optimum range. Optimum range twice uh, is twice their troop quality. So in this instance, for the Marine Corps, it's 20 inches. They got to be within 20 inches to even be able to see them if they are, you know, hiding. Keeping in mind that if they're in the jungle and they're 7 inches inside the 7 inches inside the jungle from the tree line, they can't be seen at all. If they move to 6 inches, they can look out and fire at whoever they want to. But um, if they stay still and don't shoot, then the Americans won't be able to see them until they're within 14 inches of the tree line. So
Now,
it will behoove the VC player to not just open up. you
are we messing with any optimal ranges or anything because of the scale of the game, or are we leaving it as written?
what's that?
Are we messing with any optimum range distances for the
So
scale?
right. So um, how this works is every weapon on the board, including pistols, can fire the length of the table.
Okay.
Right. Um, the uh, what happens is if you get within optimum range, which is again twice the distance of your troop quality. So the Americans are a troop quality D10, then they have an optimum range of 20 inches. If you're firing inside your optimum range, you get one additional firepower die. That's it. So um, if you're outside of optimum range, you don't get that additional firepower die. So not a huge, it's not a huge deal, but you know, an extra die is an extra die. And for the VC, you really want them to get in close to be able to, you know, do your worst.
Understand.
Um, Now, any VC unit that's moving in the open or firing within the line of sight of the enemy are immediately spotted and can be fired on. Viet Cong units that may also make use of out of contact movement unless stated otherwise in the scenario. I'm not stating that they can't. What that means is if they are out of line of sight, they can go into a tunnel and the next turn come out another tunnel. Oh yeah, yeah. VC they can be sneaky like that. Um,
Is there a way to destroy tunnels?
Yes, you
Cool.
get you just you get to the tunnel top
And it's
and you
gone.
spin around there or
Cool.
a turn there. Yeah. They've got victory through blood. Viet Cong forces do not follow normal rules of for casualties. The VC are adept at removing their wounded and dead from the battlefield, often as they fell. Due to this unorthodox approach to CAS evac, uh, Viet Cong units don't roll for their casualties on the first aid table. Instead, they roll a single d6 for each casualty as it is taken. On a roll of a six, the model is okay and is placed back into the line. Any other result indicates the model is removed. This, these modified casualty results represent both wounded fighters and those carrying dead and wounded away from the battle. Viet Cong forces never count as having dependents. However, BC units who take casualties in a turn may only use reaction fire unless used offensive fire prior to receiving casualties. Um, so yeah, that's one of the things that if an American unit takes casualties and uh, they have a major wound, you actually have they actually take their wounded with them, um, and you lose if it's a major wound, you actually lose a two uh, two firepower dice because you lose the one for the guy being dragged, and you lose one for the guy dragging.
Do you
So
need do you need wounded markers or separate models for wounded, or how do you
I
usually
mean,
deal with
if
that
you
on
want, if I well, if you've got them, great. If not, I just tip them over on their sides and
Okay.
move them along. So um, the Viet Cong player may use the tunnel system as detailed in tunnel spots, and then reinforce. This is long drawn out, and basically what happens is that at the beginning of turn two, actually, I'm going to change this up. Um, what's going to happen is once the Marine Corps gets within uh, 12 inches of the tree line of the jungle, the following turn, the Vietnamese player will start rolling for VC units to come out of the tunnels. And like I said, if you now you do have to roll. Um, we said earlier that they had a where was it? Um, where did it go? Where did it go? Um, they have uh, insurgency level is 4. So and I'm not going to start it with turn two. I'm going to start it when they get within 12 inches. They'll roll 2d6 on a 4 or lower. So a 4, 5, 6, or a 4, 3, 2, or 1. 66% chance for each 4 or lower they roll on 2d6s, they can roll on the reinforcement table, which is that one right there. So they could potentially get as many as 8 riflemen in a VC unit to come out per D 4 or less on the D6. So that's how reinforcements is going to work. And then they've got to fight another day. Viet Cong units that are subjected to a pull back morale result must make an immediate troop quality check. If the unit fails the test, it disperses into the jungle to fight another day. Any troops that leave the battlefield in this manner are not counted as victory points. And then out of contact movement to reflect their local knowledge of the terrain, Viet Cong units may always make use of out of contact movement unless the scenario states otherwise. And it's not going to state otherwise.
So I need number one. I need to bring extras.
Yes.
Number two, the lower quality the troops, the higher the chance of reinforcement on that.
Run that by me again.
So you said on a 4 or lower on the reinforcement roll, they'll get reinforcements.
Right, because that's the insurgency level.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with quality of troops.
Okay. I thought troop quality die was everything.
No, except on that. It's always a D6. Well, it works out to be a troop quality in this particular situation because the VC uh, are troop quality 6.
Okay.
But no, that is that's the one role that the Vietnamese players will take. That's necessarily not necessarily a troop quality.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
um,
Sorry about that. I just
no, that's okay. No, you're asking the questions now that I I would be expecting from the players in November. So it's just getting me to be able to answer immediately and with confidence.
no. Let me regroup then. Hey, why are there hexes on this table if you're not using them for movement? And why couldn't you get a mat that didn't have hexes on it? Okay, I
Because I like hexes. There you go.
yeah.
Because it's an homage to my friend Jeff, known as
Hmm.
Hex to Hex on the YouTubes. Go watch his show. So yeah, that's the scenario that I've written up. Um, I think it'll play well.
Hey, if your terrain guy comes through, it's gonna look good.
I've got no doubt my train guy is going to come through. Got no doubts whatsoever.
So,
So now that I've got that out of the way,
oh, there's
I
a nerds
can.
nerd. You wanted a gun truck.
What's that?
I said you wanted a gun truck. A nerds nerd just showed up in chat.
Oh, there you go. Keaton Nord says it lacks 50 cals in gun trucks. Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong, but uh, it's. I don't want it to be so overpowering that the Vietnamese player players end up not enjoying the game. So I'm going to embiggen myself here for a second because I'm going to show off some of the goods that I've been working on. Here's my B-17, one of them. I've got 6 of these bad boys now, all done up with the stars. I think they turned out pretty good. I do need to paint black on the propellers, but that's the least of my worries. Um, then I've got one of my P-51s.
Oh, that looks good.
And then an FW-190. I have made the conscious choice of not adding the swastikas on the tails because they're my planes and I get to do what I want. A BF-110. Check out the nose art there.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, I did not paint those. Those are decals. This is the paint scheme I'm using here is based off JG 26, which was the fighter wing that or fighter group that flew over France and the Benelux in 43 and 44. And then here's a 109.
Those cannons look good on it.
So that's what I've been working on. And then I had um, I designed the the base with a little triangle to point to show which way is forward. And I'm using a what size nail is this? This is a 6 penny 2-inch nail. That way, when I put the magnets on the bottom of the planes, I didn't have to worry about polarity. I just slapped them on, and then I made a divot in the bottom to fit a washer, so it has a little weight on them now. So it takes about 7 minutes to print one of these. So I'm also in the process of printing tags to go over here to show what the airplane, which airplane is which. So, for instance, the tag for this one will have the Balkan Kreuz and then the name, uh, BF 109, and then this is aircraft yellow 5. Um, this will, of course, have the American star and bar, and then P-51, and this is aircraft B, and then this will be the same thing but B-17, and that's aircraft Z. That way, it's going to be easy to tell which airplane is which.
You're going to show me up on air combat,
Yeah, I am.
as you should.
So, it's not the regulation color of olive drab. You know what? It is because these are actually new straight from Seattle and Boeing in Seattle. So they haven't had time to fade to that lighter green that turned almost khaki brown. So there you go. Um, yeah, definitely too many rivets on that port wing. Take it up with Rosie. Um, Again, take it up with Rosie in Seattle. That's her fault. So
I'll just put that after you.
there you go. I've got pirate ships that are made like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bag full of pirate ships.
Okay.
Like
50 caliber ammo cans. I have 4 of them full of these Star Wars minis.
I wish they still made those. I really wish they still
They
made
made them
those.
for a year and a half.
Yeah, I know.
They were phenomenal. This is what got me into miniature gaming.
Yeah,
My
I
grandmother
wish
who
they
had
still
no
made them.
idea my grandmother who had no idea what it was bought me a starter pack. The like 3 months before we moved to Florida. And my dad felt so bad about moving us to Florida. It was like every Friday he'd come in with 3 or 4 of those little foil
Now,
packs and throw them on the
yep,
table, and we'd sit and build them together. And then
yep.
he'd complain about the rules and how he didn't understand it and how this card was broken. And then if you were going to put all the rules on the cards, why didn't you just put it in a rule book and all this? Because my dad is not a miniatures gamer or anything else,
Right, right.
but it was a lot of fun. And then I actually got rid of them all. But I became an adult with an expendable. Well, I shouldn't say expendable, with some disposable income, and spent way
Right.
too much money tracking down all the ones I had, and all the ones I wanted, frankly. So,
Well, just what we'll need to do is uh, get me a list of the different fighters you have,
okay,
and then I can go through and say, okay, this equates to this fighter, this equates to that fighter, so we can
what I
play.
was trying to do is take the Star Wars stats and plug it into my calculator and make it work. There's no way. There's
Yeah,
no realistic way to do it.
no, you just what you got to do is say, we're going to make this fighter act like that fighter.
Mhm.
So, for instance, just off the top of my brain, you're going to make you would make a the damn it,
X-wing.
yeah, the X-wing would be P-51.
Mm-hmm.
The Y-wing is a P-47.
Okay,
Um,
with a reduced speed. Z ninety
yeah,
five Z95 Headhunter is going to be your P40 Warhawk.
exactly. Yeah, the
TIE Interceptor is going to be what, ME two sixty two.
TIE Interceptor is a P-38. Fast, maneuverable, lots of guns.
Okay, A wing.
A-wing is going to be your Zero.
Okay, but
Fast,
I would add some speed. B
a
wing.
little, yeah. B-wing is like your Sturmovik.
Okay.
It heavily armed. Actually, your Y-wing is going to be like a BF-110.
Yeah, I think the B wing is more P47. I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but
Well, the B-wing is fast.
mhm.
B-wing is fast.
Custom rules for that, I'm
That's a
sure.
B-25. That's a
Okay.
B-25 all day long.
Well, it's missing the radar dome.
William Falcon. Um, that's like an A-26.
Okay. Um, Arc 170.
That's a Mosquito.
Okay. Gunship, like Republic gunship.
A Republic gunship. That's going to be probably something like the YB-17. It's the B-17 that's just like double 50 calibers all the way around.
What's your regular Tie fighter?
Regular TIE fighter. Actually, regular TIE fighter is going to be more like the Zero.
Mhm.
The reason is it's fast, maneuverable, well armed, but you just look at it wrong and it's going to explode.
Okay. I'm thinking about just writing out some custom stats for it and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
I've tried starfighters with them. I have some difficulties wrapping my brain around starfighters. It's just because I haven't played it with anybody and I'm sitting there trying to work it out myself. The rules are wonderful. Don't let that dissuade anybody from not playing starfighters. Um,
Well, I am using a modified starfighters for with this.
okay.
The difference is it's um, each. Um, that's going to be a B-29.
Yeah, I was going to say C47, but
Well, the C-47 circa 1968 because it's going to. I'm going to show y'all. So instead of rolling dice, or not rolling dice, instead of dealing cards out for the um, for activation, what we're going to do instead is um, everybody's going to choose what movement they're going to make because I'm going to have cards. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find what I'm looking for.
So like X Wing or Wings of War.
Yeah, very similar. So here we go. Let me show you all these. Here we go. So I'm going to present, share screen, select a window. Here we go. All right. So we're going to have this um, set of cards. And what's going to happen is you determine what maneuver you want to do. And then when everybody's picked the maneuver for the airplane, everybody's going to put them down all at once. And then everybody's just going to move that amount. So let's say I'm flying the P-51 and I want to do a left turn and I'm doing speed 5, right? So what I'll do is with my airplane, I'll move forward 2 inches. I'll make my 45-degree turn, move forward 2 inches, make my 45-degree turn, and go 1 inch. That's what this is showing you in this box right here. If I'm going 3 inches, I move forward 1 inch, turn, move forward 1 inch, turn, move forward 1 inch, and that's all being done at the same time.
You know that could easily be modified for hexes. Easily.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It could be modified to hexes. Absolutely, it can be done modified to hexes. But this way, we're not slowing down by having to call out cards. We're not having to slow down by rolling dice to see who goes first and whatnot. Everybody goes. If at the end of the maneuver you've got a you can shoot because this is what your card is going to look like. Hold on 1 second here. Wrong button. Here we go. Um, is this the one I want? Yeah. So let me change out. Again, bear with me, folks. Stop sharing, present, share screen. So each aircraft will have one of these cards, and you can see here that it's a P-51D Mustang. It's got 650 caliber machine guns. Um, its range is 12 inches and 24 inches, and it's one D10 per pair. So when you're firing your when you're firing your machine guns on your P51, you're picking up 3 dice. Um, and then you got on the front, it shows you what your systems are and your pilot traits, your shock and your damage, and the die type that you're rolling. So all P51s are fast and a dogfighter. So you get a free 4-inch move per activation added to any one action, and the dogfighter gives you +1 to dogfighting rolls when using guns. But you're always using guns. And then this particular pilot has leader, ace, dogfighting ace, and ferocious. Um, Leader gives you a +1 to any pilot in their flight making a pilot shock recovery roll. Aces means he's a D12 for all of his rolls. Dogfighting ace rolls 2 dice when dogfighting. Pick the best. Um, Ferocious is you may add +1 damage to rolls when dogfighting. So he is a dog. He is built to be for dog fighting. And then his wingman has Deadeye and Eagle Eye, so he is all about the shooting. So, and I've got these all worked up for the different, for all the different aircraft that I've got as well. So, let's see here. Stop screen. There we go. Richard says decals look great. Thank you, sir. Some have gone on real well. Others we've had arguments, and we won't discuss the issues I've had. Um, yeah, Nord, I've noticed it's not you giving me a hard time this time. Um, yes, Nord, it is a lot like Wings of War. I pulled it directly off of Wings of War and added speed to it as well. Based on the move card you have, I would drop the inches and base movement on the card, long edge and short edge. It would streamline it a little. Um, yeah, see, I've been thinking about that also, Scala. I've been it's been in my brain. I've been thinking about it. I'm not sure if that's where I'm wanting to go with it or not. I could also print out movement sticks that are measured ahead of time for the movements. Uh, I I like that idea, except I don't because especially when planes start getting real close to one another, those sticks kind of get in the way. Hey Jeffy, how you doing, buddy? Glad you could drop in. Um, so yeah, that's I all I've got left to do is finish up the decals on the P51s. For whatever reason, they are more trouble than the other airplanes have been, and I don't know why. And it's annoying the absolute dog crap out of me. Um, I've got 6 more I've got to do. I thought I had one. It was looking good. I had invasion stripes on it. It was looking great. And the last decal that I had to put on was the numbers. Obviously, it's not this one because this one looks good. I had to put these numbers on, and the decal went screwy on me. Um, so because I don't have that decal, that same number decal, and it had already been set on the other side, I can't use that. I can't use it. I can't use. I might be able to salvage the airplane. Um, I don't know. We'll see. Um, so, but yeah, I've got 6 more P51s to paint to get decals on, and then and then print out everything, and I'll be done. I'll be set. Um, so then I got my quar. I got my quar built. I've got a full section built. That's two squads of 10, um, along with the Iskeratin, which is the section leader, a torpedo ammo carrier, and a and an assistant for him. I don't have the torpedo carrier, or I don't have the torpedo gunner yet, but I should be getting one of those here in the not too distant future. So, but yeah, that's I hopefully by this time next week I'll have 10 of those little guys either done or mostly done, so that I can show off. Because next, a week from this Saturday, uh, brother Jay and I are running a this fistful of quar game. So there you have it. Getting how close are you getting that little bird to being done?
I'm just going to do the assemblies and then I'm going to
Yeah,
paint it and then I'll put it together.
yeah,
So most of my assemblies are done.
yeah. Is that the OH6 or the AH6?
It's going to be the O. I'm not going to put any guns on it.
Okay,
I'm going to pair it with my Cobras and a hunter killer team.
there you go. There you go.
And then also just because 1960s awesomeness, Clint Eastwood with two guns sits perfectly on the running board shooting Colt Dragoons like nobody's business.
There you go.
I'm not going to do that, but that would make McMurray happy if McMurray
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would.
just coming in and blasting away.
Yeah. So then I came out blasting.
Yeah, I need to get my Fistful of Lead Reloaded 2.0 book out and throw up a Lincoln log table, and
There you go.
so
I'd be down for that.
I do it. I've got enough right now. Right now, I mean, I've got. Let's see. I'm looking at 17 or 18 in front of me that are done, and I know I've got some more in the back. So
Outstanding. Outstanding.
um, I've got Wyatt Earp and his brothers, and Doc Holliday, of course. So
Quite good. Quite good. So, well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the night. I know it's a little early, but I'm tired. Tired and frustrated because of the P-51 from earlier. It was looking so good. I mean, it was looking great, and it pulled that shit on me. Oh well, what are you gonna do, right? So, all right, guys. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Glad y'all had a chance to chat with each other. Glad I was able to show off what I've been working on, and hopefully, like I said, we're looking at hopefully looking at some quar next week. So,
that'd be
hey,
great.
yep. All right. Until next time, guys, we will see you on the flip side.